Was He Seen? This is Matthew, and this is another episode of Was He Seen? And today I'll be talking about the latest Disney cartoon to live action film adaptation, The Jungle Book. Now, I grew up on the Disney animated films and TV shows of the late 80s to early 90s. But oddly enough, I never really got into the Disney animated films of like the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. So yeah, believe it or not, I never saw, or at least I should say I never grew up on, the 1967 animated version of The Jungle Book. So, before I saw this latest adaptation here on the big screen, I took the time to check out this 1967 version. And honestly, I do see why people regard it as a classic. The characters were very appealing, the animation was decent enough. The story was, kind of here or there, but it was thoroughly entertaining. And of course, the music, the songs, The Bare Necessities, for example, classic song from that movie. Going into this film, I was psyched. I knew what I was going to get myself into. I wanted to get a more fleshed out adaptation of the story compared to what we got with the 1967 version, and also I wanted to see, how exactly they were going to utilize these grand visual effects into this adaptation. Now, the premise of The Jungle Book is pretty much the same thing from the original film. So it's about a little kid named Mowgli who was raised by a pack of wolves and who is mentored every once in a while by a black panther named Bagheera. So one day, a vicious tiger named Shere Khan shows up, and he notices Mowgli and he wants to kill him because he has this deep-rooted grudge against humans. So now Bagheera has to get the boy out of the wild and get him back to his home, which is called the Man Village. Now, first off, the positives. This film is directed by Jon Favreau. If you're familiar with that name, he's the guy who did movies such as Iron Man 2, Zathura, and also Cowboys and Aliens, which was a show that I missed out for, obvious reasons. And the creative team of Weta Digital. Those are the guys who did the visual effects for Avatar, King Kong, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They came through with a fantastic job in this movie. From the beginning to the end, this movie is visually spectacular. It looks so breathtaking, so magnificently gorgeous. Words can't describe just how beautiful this movie looks, And to think all of this was shot inside of a soundstage is just amazing. Secondly, I was thoroughly impressed by the way how the story was told. You really got a sense of what was going on, especially emotion behind, what was going on, especially with the main character, Mowgli. And speaking of main character, the guy who plays Mowgli, the kid who plays Mowgli, Neel Sethi, he does a very impressive job. This is his first role, guys. There are a couple of moments where you could tell, yes, he is in this soundstage and he's not really sure what's going on or who he's talking to and stuff. But, when you do see him in this world, you have to kind of just go along with the ride. You just have to kind of just believe what you see. For the rest of the cast, which is mostly voice actors, they do a great job as well too. From Scarlett Johansson as Kaa, Ben Kingsley, who plays Bagheera, Bill Murray, who plays Baloo, Christopher Walken, who plays King Louie, and Idris Elba. Great choice, by the way, who plays Shere Khan. Everyone pulls off a stellar performance in terms of voice acting, especially Idris Elba. From the moment this character is on screen, from the moment this character talks.
When was it we came to adopt man into the jungle?
He's just a cub.
Does my face not remind you of what a grown man can do?
You feel like these chills up your spine and whatnot. He is just so threatening, so vicious with his voice. I can imagine, some kids being scared by this character, but it works in terms of, setting up this great villain that, this kid, Mowgli, has to face. Bill Murray and Christopher Walken brought the much needed humor to this film. And it harkens back to the original film as well too, since they were the guys who brought that sort of feel-good humor to the story as well too. And the music as well too, the musical score was great as well too. Speaking of music, let me get to the negatives for a second. These are just little minor, little nitpicks, nothing too great, So while I appreciate the fact that, this film tried to pay homage to the original film by using the classic songs that they used, the way how it's utilized in the film, I understood why they did it that way and I appreciate it like that. But at the same time, it kind of breaks the tone of this film. I'm not saying that this film is entirely dark, entirely bleak. It's not. But at the same time, it kind of breaks apart the story a bit. And, you know, at times it's kind of like, you know, pick up the pace, you know, kind of just get the ball rolling, you know, move on. Also to the character of Ka, I felt that her character was really underutilized. And, you know, I just felt personally, you know, a lot of people will say this, I just felt that, you could have seen a little bit more of a character and see a little bit more of her fleshed out as well too. So for me, I give The Jungle Book a strong 4 out of 5 stars. This is definitely one of the most enjoyable movies I've seen this year so far, and I guarantee you guys, you are going to enjoy every minute of it. Go see it on the big screen, guys. Get your bag of popcorn, get your drink, go with your friends, go with your family, and just have fun with this movie. Disney's The Jungle Book. You've just been reviewed. Blah. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Jungle Book. Guys, this was a thoroughly enjoyable film, and this was a perfect palate cleanser for what Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice was. So guys, definitely check it out as soon as you can. And when you do, please let me know what you thought about the film. Did you like the film? Did you hate the film? Do you think it holds a candle to the original, or do you think it was just a decent effort to, you know, pay tribute to what the classic old 1967 film was, you know? Comment below, let me know, share your thoughts, and also feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And also let me know what other stuff you'd like for me to talk about, be it games, TV shows, whatever, you know, let me know. So yeah, and that's pretty much about it. So once again, this is Matthew, and like a wise man once told me, what's the scene?